Welcome to your Chips and Salsa show. This is Don Jorge El Alacran. And with me, my co-host, Cheryl Rosado.
Rosado.
And also from New Mexico, we have Alice and Zeke Rodriguez. Alice Lara, Zeke Rodriguez, directly from New Mexico, zooming in on this because we have a wonderful guest today. Our friend, the past sheriff of Maricopa County, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, running for mayor of Fountain Hills. And Fountain Hills is so lucky to have somebody like the sheriff running for Joe Arpaio running for mayor of Fountain Hills. Fountain Hills is a beautiful city. Cheryl, Cheryl has a book that the sheriff just wrote, and it's says Sheriff Joe. Yeah, the sheriff just wrote. It says Sheriff Joe, an American legend. Get the book. Get the book, people.
You can find it on Amazon. You can find it online, anywhere if you like to support Sheriff Joe by purchasing this book. And it's his story. It has everything except for his current mayoral run. So hopefully there'll be either an update or a part two in a couple years, right?
I've got three already.
Three already. So
Alice knows about that.
And we hope that everybody had a beautiful Memorial Day, remembering the fallen soldiers. Zeke, thank you for that on your radio program. How you did a very good. You spoke really good about Memorial Day, and Alice, you too. So now, without further ado, we have a few guests in here. We have Jamie came, she wanted the front row seat. You got a front row seat to Sheriff Joe. And Kevin with Sheriff Joe, and Tina is here as a guest. So let's get right to it. Cheryl, well, Alice, you want to say a few words to the sheriff before we start? Because we're just going to start.
Yes, I would love to. It's a great thrill and an honor to be on. And Zeke was so excited to meet you, Sheriff Joe. I've known Sheriff Joe for quite a while. Right before we got on, I was thanking him because I ran for the hospital board back in 2008, same year as Obama, and the sheriff endorsed me. And I did win. I won, like out of 5 people, I got 48% of the vote. And I know a lot of that's because of you, Sheriff. But I have always been such an admirer. I can't believe you wrote another book. This dude never stops. But I cannot say enough good things about you. We need, Zeke and I were talking, we need more people like you and bring back the good justice system and get things done and be a solid. That's what we need. So we're so excited to be here with you today from Las Cruces, New Mexico, from the Chips and Salsa Show, New Mexico. Zeke, you want to say a word or two?
No, it's an honor to meet you, sir. I've taught Alice the best thing that we can do is learn from gentlemen like you. I feel like your generation was hardened in a way that the Americans today aren't, like my generation isn't, and your parents were hardened in a way that people just aren't anymore. So I'm just here to listen and support you and everything that you're doing, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. With Alice, first of all, she's a big patriot, number one. And we didn't grow up together because she would be gray hair and all that stuff. So
I got it.
Being on her show, I have a lot of controversial situations. Always going on her show kind of balanced it out and gave me the fighting to keep going and not ever surrender. So she had a lot to do with my campaigns, not just eating chips and salsa. She was out there. She was out there helping in her own way. So thank you.
Pleasure.
And I want to remind our chipsters, we're on YouTube right now. We're on Rumble and Facebook, all 3 social media platforms. So tell your friends, share this interview. Cheryl, you want to say a few words?
Yeah, I was mentioning right before we went live to Sheriff Joe how much I owe him, and I give thanks to him because I 3rd generation and I grew up in South Phoenix, and I never knew that there was a legislative district or PCs or anything like that until I got married. And then I got an email from Sheriff Joe and it said, come see me speak at a local meeting in your area. And I was stunned that there were other Republicans in South Phoenix topics that weren't related to me because I'd never heard of such a thing. So my husband and I and my mother and my brother, we all went down to go see Sheriff Joe. We were super excited. We were able to take some pictures. And then after Sheriff Joe left, the man who was running the meeting said, well, we're here every single month, this meeting of Republicans. And we were just stunned. I said, you guys meet every month? A whole bunch of Republicans? And so my husband and I started going to meetings, and that's how I got involved. And now not only am I a PC and a state committeeman, but I'm a member at large for AZGOP. And all of that can be traced all the way back to an email that I got from Sheriff Joe. So I greatly appreciate you letting people know when you were going to be speaking, because that's how I found out about everything.
Yeah, but I only had one criteria. I wanted demonstrators out there. Did you have demonstrators?
Demonstrators at the meeting?
Yeah, when I talked.
There were always demonstrators wherever you go, Sheriff Joe.
Everywhere you go.
There's always demonstrators.
That's
where
what
you
I
go.
want.
Yeah.
I don't give speeches unless you get demonstrators. And I go right out in front of them. They give me the finger. I try to talk nice to them. Everywhere I've talked around the country, I want demonstrators. I usually get them.
That's crazy.
But it's great. That gives me I'm a street guy. I don't have all these degrees and all this, but I have a big career.
Mhm.
And everybody says, how come you loved me? And, I got two things going for me. One is life experience. I won't tell you how long the life is, but I will. And common sense.
Mhm.
That's what we need in this country, in
That's rare
politics
today.
and private business. Common sense. And there's another thing. I'm President Bush. He's my favorite. We'll get to him when we get to him. All right.
Okay.
We're not leaving here until I talk about him for 5 minutes. So,
Trump.
so we're lacking one thing. And I'm talking about Republicans too.
Mhm.
I'm a big Republican, but there's no loyalty or character left. And I'm talking about Republicans too.
Mhm.
I can go down the list. Private business. What happened to those two words? There's another word called integrity. All that seems to have gone out the window on both sides of the aisle, unfortunately. It's sad. Now, I'm not going to ask you your age because I'm not interviewing you. You're supposed to be interviewing me.
73.
Come on. Can I see your birth certificate? You got a birth certificate?
My license. I'll be 73 in June the 25th.
You're not 70.
Okay, I'm 72.
How old am I?
You're 80 something.
I look like I'm 80.
80 something.
You need glasses. I'm 65.
Oh, you're 65.
Add 35 years for that.
35.
I was born the same day as Donald Trump.
No.
You want to see my birth certificate?
No, I believe you.
What is that, June 14th?
Flag Day,
Flag
Army Day.
Right? Mhm.
Now, talking about Trump, when the NBC asked me 2 years ago, is John McCain your hero? Now, I've had differences with McCain.
Right.
But I don't badmouth him that much in that book, although he does me before he died. So I told the reporter, I said, it took me 90 years to find my hero. Was that John McCain? No. And this is the truth. 4 months prior to that question, I woke up and I told my wife, who had been married 63 years, she passed away. I finally found my hero. Who's that? Donald Trump.
Yep.
Now, I just met with Trump a few months ago privately. Went to Florida. Why is he only? By the way, how many Republicans have said Donald Trump is my hero? hero. I mean, nothing wrong with having a hero. Now, even if one or two did say that, I went a step further. I said he's the only hero in my lifetime. And he was very appreciative. He keeps putting that out. And I never knew the guy. I was the first one to take the stage, July, when he came down, the month before he came down the escalator, his first rally.
His
Was
first
in
rally
Phoenix.
was here. Yep.
So nobody would get up there and introduce him, governors or nothing. I got up there. And I never knew the guy. I knew about a hotel. So I looked him in the eye and I said, there's a silent majority out there. I'm the one that started that. And every 10,000 people start cheering. And then I said, we're born on the same day. Oh. And then I looked him in the eye. I said, you're going to be our next president. I was right. Why would I'm a little psychic, not psycho, but psychic. Why would I say that? Because I knew, first of all, he was a celebrity. I know what it is to be a celebrity. You're
You
looking
have
at
some
one.
of that, yeah.
Sometimes it's not good. So,
Worldwide.
and I knew that he was a businessman.
Yep.
And I knew he wasn't in bed with the swamp and all this garbage. I sensed that, and I was right. Now, they went after me. Well, it happened in 2009, before I did the birth certificate investigation, where I was the top target for Biden and Obama, the first 100 days in office, 2009. But my wife used to watch Fox because Trump was on Fox. This is way back, 2015. My wife had cancer. And I told Trump, I said, my wife watched you on Fox. And he says, give me the phone. He calls my wife. He's called my wife 7, 8 times, even when he was president. How's your wife Ava doing?
Aw.
I don't get calls from other politicians. Sometimes they give you the finger after they use you. Why are you laughing?
No, you're right.
I don't
It's
prepare
funny
this.
because it's true.
Uh,
Like we know it's true. That's why most people wouldn't say it.
I'm not a typical politician, although the secret, everybody says, we love you because you're not a politician. You know what my answer is? I'm the best politician in history because nobody thinks I am a politician.
That's right.
The same reason that
if-
people love you is why people love Trump.
If
It's
you're
authentic.
listen, all these guys, I'm independent. I'm going to serve everybody. I'm not a politician. Hey, if you're running for office, you are a politician. Some don't act like it. They shouldn't even be running. So that's how I feel about Donald Trump. By the way, the hit job they did on me, federal judge, the worst setup in history, and I'm still taking heat on that with the money, contempt of court. They charged me with contempt of court. Wouldn't give me a jury trial. I have never been fingerprinted and photographed.
There's no mugshot of you.
I have to hear this over the radio that I've been charged. So I sit there at a defense table. This judge, when his wife said previously, when they asked her, what her husband did, oh, he's a federal judge. Wow, he's a federal judge. This is in Ahwatukee at a little reunion that woman had, school chums. Oh, and then she blurts out, my husband hates Sheriff Joe Arpaio, and he's going to do everything impossible to make sure he never gets reelected. That should be enough to excuse. You know how they're going at the Supreme Court judge,
Recuse.
They recuse
wife and all
themselves.
this crap. His brother-in-law He's a member, official of that famous law firm, Covington Burling, where everybody goes. Big shot attorney generals to join the firm. Guess what? ACLU is filed a lawsuit against me. And his brother-in-law firm is hearing the case. You want to talk about conflicts of interest? So I remember Trump had a rally in Phoenix, a lot of demonstrators out there. And the word came up, are you going to pardon?
Sheriff Joe.
Because I was just convicted,
Right.
had to go to court 2 weeks later to be arraigned. Of course, I didn't know that. I had to listen to the radio to know I had to go before a judge, okay? So Trump says, about 10,000 people. I told my wife, I didn't go because they had a lot of demonstrators out there downtown Phoenix. I didn't want to cause more demonstration. I stayed home, told my wife, you wait, Trump is going to say something about me. He pulls out a piece of paper and he says, don't worry, Sheriff Joe will be okay. Well, first he said, how many love Sheriff Joe? Of course, the audience, don't worry, he'll be okay. Yeah, I'm supposed to be in court. A week later, on a Friday afternoon, and he pardons me just before I had to go to court. That judge did not like it. I'll tell you why. I've been a federal guy for years. I've been director of Mexico. I know the feds. Why Friday afternoon? That's hard to make bond. So she would have sentenced me to the federal prison with all the media in the universe, put me in handcuffs, put me there over the weekend, and then it would be 3 days, and she would release me, and she would say, I'm sentencing you to 3 days. You already did
Time
your
served.
3 days and probation. They didn't get the pony show that they wanted to embarrass me. You get the point?
Yep, that's what it was for.
Now, if I do something wrong, I admit to it. I've been on TV, everything, every day. He knows it. I'm on media around the world. They still talk about it. Still talk, especially the immigration and the drug and all that stuff. So, one thing I should never say, first of all, the lady here was a black organization. She's helping out.
Oh, Back the Blue?
Black the Blue.
Back the blue.
They call me a racial. They say I was guilty of racial profile. First of all, the judge didn't find me guilty of racial profiling. He found me guilty of using race as a criteria to stop someone. Doesn't matter. I sent all my deputies to ICE for training. I had the most trained law enforcement agency with the training they had to go through. So I had authority to stop people.
That was your job.
And when I do something, I don't do it halfway. I go full force. All these recent interviews, are you going to apologize? You know what I tell them all? I'm not apologizing what I did. I'll do it again. I tell them all that. I don't back down. When I know I'm right,
Exactly.
I don't back down.
If you know you're right.
Now they call me, I'm the top racial profiling guy in the universe. First of all, I got a Mexican grandkid. I got a black grandkid. I was a regional director in Mexico, South America, the DEA, top guy. And then sheriff, I worked the border 24 years. I got about 52 years covering that border on both sides. My mother, father came from Italy, legally. Unfortunately, my mother gave her life for me. They refused an abortion. So I know a little about, and I was in Turkey. I worked with a Turkish presidents, undercover. I did a lot of undercover work, but I also was in charge of myself because I'm the only guy there. One day I got to meet with the prime minister. The next day I'm shooting dope pellets. I really don't. Well, I'm involved in many gun battles.
There you go.
In the hills of Turkey. But I also was in charge. So I had to meet with the prime minister. And on other countries, I used to meet with presidents. Even Mexico. G. Gordon Liddy, I don't know if you remember him.
I do.
And I ran Operation Intercept under Nixon. We closed that border just for 2 weeks. And then they made me the regional director of Mexico. Wow, they hated us. I had to try to get them on my side. So fortunately, the Attorney General of Mexico did come over my house. It wasn't easy getting him over there, but he came. And I got a nice meal for him. I'm not stupid. I went to the military PX and got American whiskey. My wife is a good cook, so she cooked blueberry pie. I got more done with blueberry pie and whiskey. Now, sometimes things I didn't mix the whiskey with the pie. It was separate, this and that. I never had a problem with the Mexican. They were crooked, but they never screwed my cases. So when you go in the back room, have a little blueberry pie.
Now we know.
Or Corona, whatever, beer, you get more done. And that's why I love Trump. He goes in the back room. Putin, I can go on and on. But when they're in the back room, they're making deals for the good of this country. That's how you work. You go in the back room, make a deal for the good of the United States. That's how they should operate. Now you go in the back room, you need 50 AR-15s or knives.
Stab them in the back. That's what they do.
Oh, you brought that up. I didn't bring it up. Oh, they stab you in the back.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes you put the knife in, like I may, but you never twist it.
You never twist.
When you twist it, they'll capiche. Huh?
Yes.
So I shouldn't bring this up, but in a way, the criminal justice system is not fair all the time.
No,
That's true.
I got credit for locking up 250,000. Most of them are Hispanic. They came from Mexico looking for a job and all that, illegals. Well, I did my job. There's 2 state laws still there that law enforcement can enforce. No one from ICE down is locking anybody up. You know, if you grab a truck accidentally, even you find 20 illegals in it, you're going to make the news. So tell me the last time you heard of a load of illegals arrested. They're not doing it from ICE down. You talk about an open border.
Yeah.
Nobody's locking anybody up. Think of that. And we got 2 state laws. You can still do it. That's how I operated. Human smuggling law and employer sanction. They're still on the books, but no one is enforcing that law.
They're afraid.
Hey, Sheriff Joe, can I say, Sheriff Joe? I just want to say, I mean, I wish you were in charge of the border. When you were running for office, I remember one time, and it was in South Phoenix, you know, Cheryl Rosado and I lived in South Phoenix, which is very Democrat, very blue. And there was this lady, and somebody was bad mouthing you. And oh my gosh, and she just came up to me, she goes, Sheriff Joe, he's the only one. She happened to be Mexican lady. Okay, I say that because I'm Mexican with a real thick accent. And she says, he's the only one who actually comes down here to help us. She goes, this used to be a nice neighborhood. And then when a lot of the illegal aliens started infiltrating, it became very dangerous. But I'll never forget, because she was so outspoken. She loves the sheriff. And she was telling the truth because she had been living there for most of her life. And that's where, you know, guys like you, you're not afraid to, you know, justice. That's what we have in America. If we don't have justice and freedom, we don't have in America. So I just want to throw that little story in. Cheryl probably has some of her own as well. But thank you.
So Alice, I do have a heart because first of all, I made animal cruelty my top.
That was your
Bastion.
issue.
I'm not gonna
You were
get-
known for that.
Now I get a lot of heat on the tents. Everybody's copying me. Even
Yeah.
the people here would know they're sleeping in tents. I had 500,000 people come to the tents. To this day, almost 80% that have been in the tents, when they can see me, they thank me. Their parents thank me because I saved a lot of lives
Mhm.
in those tents. To this day, they do that. And I forget the pink underwear. I know he's selling pink underwear. You know why I'm selling pink underwear? To make money to help the cops thrown under the bus. That's where the money goes. It doesn't go to me. So I put them in pink. Why did you put everybody in pink underwear? I'm going to give you 2 reasons. One is a official reason.
Okay.
Statute of limitations gone. Since I was pardoned, they can't go after me anymore.
Good. So tell us.
The official reason, they were smuggling the white underwear out of the jails. So I said, wait a minute. If nobody wears pink underwear, I'm going to make them all wear pink so we can spot it right away. Now, that's the official reason. The unofficial reason, they hate pink. So why would I give them a color that they like? Now,
Exactly.
now talking about, did I ever racial profile? I shouldn't say that.
Say it.
Say I think I did. When I was a cop in Washington, D.C., you know, I joined the Army when the Korean War broke out. I was 18, or that was 1950. They take a computer, and you'll know I'm way older than you are.
Okay.
So I was racial profile. I walked a block beat in the center of Washington, D.C., Metropolitan Police, for 4 years. So if I see a white guy, it's 3 o'clock in the morning in the alley, what's he doing in the alley? He's all black. So I go up to him. This happens quite frequently. What are you doing here? Scoring, drugs, grabbing hookers, gambling? I probably never would have gone to him if he didn't look out of place.
Mhm.
I don't know what you want to call that. You can call it whatever you want. So actually, I let off Eisenhower's parade. I have my American Legion. I'm guarding the crowd. The chief, oh, you were in the Army. Yes, sir. You know how to hold a flag. Of course I know how to hold a flag. You're leading off the parade. I lit off Eisenhower's parade. At that time, you didn't have tanks. You had a fireman on one side, a cop on the other side. So I met the sheriff from Clark County, Vegas. He says, why don't you come and join law enforcement? So I got tired a little of walking a beat. And so I went over there. I joined the Vegas police. My name to fame was I locked up Elvis Presley. So
Really?
I was only there for 6 months, and I became a federal narcotic agent in Chicago. That was my big career. Now, Elvis, every time I mention that, they don't want to hear nothing else about my history. You locked up Elvis Presley. Yeah.
That's an
So-
incredible feat. So
So it's in the book. So here's what happened. Elvis was at a Harley, 1957, had a beautiful blonde
I'm sure.
on the motorcycle. So I kind of joked, I'm a new cop there. I'm patrolling downtown Vegas. I'm looking at the motorcycle. I kind of looked at the blonde too. So I pulled the motorcycle over. Oh, I'm Elvis Presley. Wow. And at that time, he was helping, I think it was Reagan or Nixon on a drug.
Yeah, he was
Stay away from
undercover.
drugs. Okay, Elvis, you're still going to jail. 100 miles an hour. He was
Oh.
going. So I took him to the jail. And then I started talking to him. We're talking about drug abuse. So I give him a pass. I don't book him, but I still locked him up. I gave him a pass. So that every time I give a speech, I talk about Elvis. They don't want to hear about pink underwear. That's all they want to hear about. You locked up Elvis. Now, if I was the sheriff, see, I did it quietly. I let him go. If I was a sheriff, I think I would have kept it secret. I'm not a publicity hound, but I'm not stupid either. I got a lot of photos with celebrities. Every time it's their birthday, I'd send it to them. What's the name, Steven?
Seagal.
The Night Show guy, Steven
Colbert.
Colbert. I sent him a nice message 2 weeks ago. Every time a birthday, I send happy birthday, Steven, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, you don't have the guts to put me back on your show. I've been on his show a few times. You know, he's the one that hates Trump too.
Yeah.
Yep.
They all do.
Which makes me feel good. I can go after these guys. so
Don't
so
pull
he's
the
still in
punches.
the singer, actor.
Jennifer Lopez?
The,
George Lopez?
George
remember,
Lopez.
Yeah. He had a show too, huh?
and my wife and I are watching HBO. We turn the channel. Just as I turn it, here he comes. 5 minutes, he's called me every name in the book. Every name in my, and in Spanish. I learned a little bad words in Spanish from him.
Everyone
that I
knows the
didn't hear
bad
about it.
words.
So every day, and every time I sent messages, face me face to face. He still won't do it. Now, I bring these little stories up because they're interesting, and I can tell you a lot of things that are bureaucratic and all that. But I was born same day as Trump. I told you that.
Mhm.
Not the same year, same day, Flag Day. And when he took care every time, even in the last two rallies, he gets up there and he talks about my wife and me. This is the last two he recently had. He never forgot what I said about my wife. He's a real man. He's got character. I don't care what anybody says. And I always introduce him to rallies all over the country. Never asked him for anything. When I endorsed Ducey, who was the governor here, he won because of me. Everybody knows that now. So he's not as famous as he used to be in his state.
Mm.
But I did that. I was the honorary chairman for Bush, Mitt Romney, Rick Perry. I don't even put Trump in the categories of those three, but I travel with those guys around in Utah trying to get them elected. Those are three things. Now, today, I have some Republicans going after me, and I endorse all of them. I'm not going to get into that. So there's no character. I talk about Republicans. We know about the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
We know about it. But today's environment and politics, and you know it. Alice definitely knows it. She's been around a long time. And she probably has stories she can tell better than me. So
I doubt that.
probably they'll listen to her more than me anyway, but she didn't have a gun and badge. She had a mouth more powerful than a gun in the back.
Hey,
So those are the people. You know how I win an election? The party doesn't help me, no matter what I did for them. They don't go around and get signatures and all that. I always win my elections going to the people.
Mhm.
That's always been my secret weapon.
The grassroots.
Campaigning to the people. I report to the people.
The
And I
people
made
love
the
you.
most stupid mistake in my career as sheriff. And I'm not ashamed to tell you this. Now, remember, in the Army, I had a boss. DEA, I had a boss. Okay. And I was stupid enough to say that the sheriff should be appointed and not elected in my first campaign, 1992, because I was thinking as a bureaucrat, I always had a boss.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been fired if I had a report to any politician, governor, I don't care who they are. There would be no tents, no underwear, no nothing if I had to report to somebody. That's the mistake I made. If you don't like your sheriff, at least make sure that he isn't appointed and he's elected. Then you can get rid of him.
Mhm.
That's what they ought to do with all these judges. Be elected. So that's a mistake I made. But I had to learn. I had to learn.
Yep.
And I never forget that. I won the election. I beat the guy that was part of the swamp, Republican, had everybody for him. But I went out and met the people on the streets. So I remember these things. Now the birth certificate, I know you don't, Alice doesn't want to hear this, but she doesn't care because no media in history, including top politicians in this world, will ever talk about the birth certificate.
Obama's birth certificate.
Yeah, that's the most fake document in history. And I took him on.
Mm-hmm.
When they came to me, the old real Tea Party came to me. You're an elected sheriff, and you're the only one that can save us. You see this document? It's fake. We want you to investigate it. Well, if I was smart, I would have said, go to the FBI. I'm just a little old sheriff. Or I would have said, wait a minute, I have to study this. I got to run it by my staff, the janitors, all that. Nothing would happen. And I'm not stupid. I had my federal career meeting presidents and all that. You know what? It took me 3 hours to say I'm going to investigate it. And I did. And I was smart. I used my volunteer cold case posse so they couldn't get me on taxpayers' money.
Right.
Number one, I
That
knew
is
they would
smart.
go
Yep.
after me on that. Didn't cost the taxpayers any money. Now, I had 3 press conferences. Now, Zulo is one ex-cop, head of my cold case posse, and he took it on computers, all these computers and all this. I don't understand. 3 press conferences, but by luck, just before I left or got defeated because of all this immigration stuff, a woman came with her birth certificate, and I had his birth certificate. Takes 8 parts away from hers, and they paste it on his. Now that's pretty good probable cause, but I wasn't stupid. I wanted a forensic scientist to show it was removed. I couldn't get anybody here. I had to go to my whole old country, Rome, and get them to look at it. And these are top guys. They did it as a favor. Then they looked at it. Wow, this is a fake document. Okay. Now I locked up, they caused me for locking up 200,000 people. A lot of them come over here for a job. They shouldn't be illegal, but they do. They got fake Social Security, fake driver's license. You lock them up. They have no attorney. Take them to the border, get them deported. And yet we have a president of the United States with a fake document. When I started this in my first press conference, you know what I said? I want to clear Obama. I want to clear him. Just show me the birth certificate. Nobody came up with a birth certificate except a fake one. And there's a law firm out of California that brought the money to Steele. Remember the Steele case? Paid them off.
Mm-hmm.
And then he went after me. And it's George Soros. Perkins Coie is the law firm.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yep.
to hang me. Now everybody thinks that I got defeated because of illegal immigration. You know what it was? The birth certificate.
Birth certificate.
They
that's
wanted
right.
me lose my gun and badge. Everybody thinks I lost because, well, of course, the federal judge was, I ain't gonna call him names. Hope I never have to go before him again, but it will never, I don't care. So that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm talking, I talk to National, Newsweek, and the minute I mentioned birth certificate, they blocked the story.
They're done.
When
the
I went to
interview.
Fox, Judge Janine, by a mistake, producer asked me to go talk. And the judge, Janine, says about Hawaii, remember they had a scandal, you push a button, it's going to throw missiles, blow up. And she says, one day I wish they would solve that case. Stupid me. I said, they can't even solve Obama's birth certificate. She almost walked off the set. From that day, 4 years, they refused to have me on Fox.
Wow.
I'm telling you, I know all those guys. Hannity, everybody. They blocked me out because I mentioned the birth certificate. And it's still going on today.
Wow.
Still going on today. But you know,
Sheriff Joe,
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you, but I have to say, so because we've been in this for a long time, I even remember you were at a Republican women's club with me, sitting next to me and telling me how you had the stuff on the birth certificate, but you were like an original kind of a Trump figure. I always felt they wanted to come after you because they thought, if we can take down this world famous popular sheriff who's doing his job, then we can take anybody. I always felt like you were such a big target, and shame on them for doing that. I don't want the hour to go though, because you are running for office, and do you have anybody who's even opposing you? Because I think you'd be great as a mayor of Fountain Hills.
So I got a current thing going on now. Maybe you can help me.
Yes.
I got a guy in Mexico City, went before the Mexican Senate. He's equivalent to our Secretary of State in Ibarra. And he says, oh, that guy, Sheriff Joe Arpaio, Maricopa County, Arizona, he's a murderer. He kills Mexicans. And he smuggled 3,000 guns into Mexico. This is a high official. So what I did, I had about 30 Hispanic stations cover that story. The American press would not cover that story, but the press did. And Hispanic press, who, by the way, they treat me fair. I hate to say this. I get better with the Telemundo and Univision and all that. So all I said, I want an apology. I'll even fly to Mexico City and meet with this guy. I want an apology. I can't get anybody. Now we're trying to serve this guy because we sued them and did it in Florida right next to Trump's federal building because we're taking it to state court. It's hard to get anybody to serve the guy. After he'd said that, a week later, he flies to Washington. He meets with Sullivan, the top security guy. You think they're not talking about me? Obama? Of course they're talking about me. He's appeared in all the news and everything. Now you got these guys sending the Hispanics to my hometown in Massachusetts and all over the country, okay? And you know what? Why I'm in danger? Because the Hispanics that come from another country or whatever, they get free room and board, free hamburgers, free everything, free television, probably big screen. They have to, when they watch, they're watching the Spanish stations. They don't speak English. So they see me every day that I have killed their countrymen, that I'm a drug. So I said, wait a minute, that's a threat on me. And all I wanted was an apology. I had a lot of cartels after me. I think everyone had hits on me, which makes me angry. It started out at 10 million. I was worth, now it was down to 1 million. So I'm losing my something going on.
But
So,
you're going to run for mayor of Fountain Hills.
Arizona, that's a small town.
Right. So what do they think about you in Fountain Hills? Are you the only one running, or do you have?
Oh, I know I got a couple of points. And the guy you mentioned that was sheriff,
Oh, okay.
that is in bed with all those guys. So
Right.
they don't want me because they know when I take over in office, I always research and see good management, where the money is. Do we need changes? I'm doing that on a lower scale.
Right.
I just lost by 200 votes 2 years ago.
Right. I remember you ran 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's another story. Small town, they're cliques. Who do you know? Don't rock the boat. Just leave everything great. You know what I'm talking about?
Do you have a campaign, a website that people could volunteer on your campaign, or no?
So I'm going to show you something.
Okay.
If I can pull that thing out, because there's something else on my card. And wow.
Yeah, because if you need people to go out door knocking or to put signs in their yard,
Yeah, I got all
like to
that.
be able to tell them how.
I used to raise millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I used to raise 6 million. Thanks to Alice. Thanks to Alice. Because
Cool.
every time she says something,
It's arpaio.vote.
Is this?
Okay, that's no, this is Jamie's card.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, arpaio.vote. That's where people can go to find more information to how to get a yard sign or
I
to
got
sign up
my
to,
brochure and all that.
yeah, a
Yes.
trifold or
Yeah.
something.
So I appreciate it. But
And he would be a great mayor for Fountain Hills, people. He was
I
a
want to
great.
encourage also people to share this video. Just to you listen kind of to his life story and experience. And this man is so solid. And I want to hear too, because we're going to run out of time, Sheriff. I want to hear your plans. I'm not sure how that city is set up, if you have how much authority you have, what the city council makeup is, but give us your quick, short plan, because I know you're always planning, strategizing.
oh yeah, I know how to work the system, and I got my plans for mayor. The mayor is not a strong mayor. It's manager, city managers.
City
around.
manager.
But the mayor does have, first of all, the mayor hires who the sheriff is, 50-50 proposition. And I study the law. The mayor can enforce some emergency things. Well, I think drug traffic is an emergency thing when everybody's dying of fentanyl, including
Right.
so I know how to not play the system, but you know what? I got one thing going for me. I want to get along with everybody. That whole council's all, they hate each other. It's all screwed up. But you know what? If I want something really bad and this town council tries to vote me out of that, I got one secret weapon. That's called the bully pulpit. Because I'll have the TV in front of that town hall. They can't take heat.
Right.
They can't take heat. Say one word, they go home and I don't know what they do. So I'll have the TV in front of that town hall every day. Every day.
To get things done.
If they really try to, it's only a 2-year term.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to give everybody my birthday, and you can wish me a happy birthday. It's coming pretty quick,
Mhm.
and I always share that with Trump. So I was born June 14, 1932. So you can pull up your machine. You can't figure it out.
Yeah.
So,
Crunch some numbers.
and you're all invited. I'm going to have an open house. Last year I had a big deal, and they gave me a horse champion. So there's a horse named after me too, you know.
Oh,
It's called Sure Joe. So
sure.
you watch the video. Sure Joe, he's coming here. He's making it. He hasn't won yet, but the horse's grandfather was Secretariat. Most
Oh,
famous horse.
That's right, he was.
So I got my name. A friend of mine bought the horse, wanted to name it. He wanted to name it after me. Oh, Sure Joe. Wow, that's great. So I got that going for. I hope he wins before the election.
There you go.
So that's I got that
We can
going.
have
So
a
I do.
Kentucky Derby style party.
Yeah. So you all invited I'm not having a big party. I have an open house,
In Fountain Hills.
Mountain Hills. I think we'll do it 3 to 7. My daughter owns a Crown Glory tea shop. Very, very famous. Big Catholic. My daughter's a big Catholic, so she's always got the bishop coming.
So June the 14th.
June 14.
Sheriff Joe's open house party.
Shoes, yep. June
I'll
the
be there.
14th.
So I speak from the heart.
You do.
And when I say something about Trump, I don't care. Now he's going to be, he's up for the jury now on this hooker garbage. So he's going to make it all right.
I think
He'll be
so.
a hung jury at least.
Yeah, I think so.
That's the biggest frame job in history. And it's going on with him over and over,
Mhm.
over again.
It seems like the good people are prosecuted, even up to Jesus. Remember the Romans? They hated Jesus. but he was talking the truth.
Well, there's a quote
mean-
by my wife, big Catholic, always read the Bible every day.
Yep, yep, I remember.
I didn't read it every day, but she advised me what was in every day. I had my song, my favorite song, I Did It My Way.
You did it your way.
And she would never tell me, but I know why she never liked that song.
Why?
I did it my way. I took the blows and did it my way. And now the end is near. Face the final curtain. Now she's reading that. Holy, you know what I'm talking about.
She didn't want that.
But my wife of 63 years has never complained about me, my job. She followed me to Turkey, followed me to Mexico, on and on and on. 63 years, never complained. Never have really had an argument. She always went along what I wanted to do. In fact, she saved my life when they wouldn't send my family over to Turkey until I did 6 months. If I'm good enough to go there, we only had 2 agents around the world, but the job always came first. Always came first. I never took a vacation all those years. So I had a deal in Beirut. The dope peddler wants the money. I'm going to fly from Istanbul to Beirut. The night before, my family's coming over. Police had all the flowers. And I said to the dope peddler, I can't make it. It's the first time I ever put my family above my job. So I met my wife. And that day, that night, I was supposed to be on a plane from Istanbul to Beirut. That plane crashed and killed everybody. So the next day I'm flying and I see all the remains. If I follow my usual policy and put the job first, I would have been dead. But I put my family first. On that instance, having not seen them for 6 months. So I always think about that. Life is very strange sometimes. Someone upstairs looking out for me. Believe me, I still have threats on me. I got Kevin here, and he's kind of jack of all trades. You know,
He's good.
opens
Kevin's
the door. He's got a gun. All this
Kevin,
stuff.
Kevin's
I don't know.
good. Kevin's
Yeah.
good.
Jack
made
of
sure-
all trades.
He made sure you were here.
Yeah. So, but I don't. I really
So
don't have.
chipsters, you have to vote for Sheriff Joe. Send your the people you know in Fountain Hills, tell them vote for Sheriff Joe for mayor. Sheriff Joe will be the next mayor of Fountain Hills. He lost by what, 200 votes last time.
Yeah, well,
Let's
This
make
time-
it happen this time.
This time we're gonna make it happen. The sheriff, thank you very much for
thank
being
you.
on our
I
show.
hope you have me back sometime.
Oh yeah,
Now, when you talk to me, you get 3 things. You get a sheriff. I keep the title. Remember,
oh yeah.
it's not ex-sheriff.
No, you're the
Sheriff.
sheriff.
You get the sheriff, you get a comedian, and you get a singer. So you get a 3-shot deal
3-shot.
when you have me on the air. And Alice
hat
should know
trick.
that.
The Sheriff Joe
That's
had
right.
But wasn't he on 960 The Patriot, 1100? Him, Robert Graham, and the late Russell Pierce. All 3 were on our show,
Our first radio show. You're right, George.
and we
You're
brought
right.
the chips and salsa for him. He says, "Gotta have chips and salsa." We had chips and salsa for him. No, the sheriff has been on our show before, and he's a great guest. Vote, vote, vote. And it's July the 30th, the primary. Vote, vote, vote. And then buy the book. The book. Oh, yeah, put the book there. The book. Well, there we go. He should have put I Did It My Way. Did he put,
Oh, I got
an American
Ted
legend.
Nugent on there.
he's got
My
Ted
guy.
Nugent, and
Kills Bambi all the time.
he even signed it for us here. So
We'll
book-
look for Steven Seagal in the next one.
the book is great. Buy his book and buy the other books, because if this one is as great as I think it's going to be, the other ones have to be good. So buy the book.
Buy the
buy the
book.
book.
Find out more about Elvis.
And I talk to Steven Seagal all the time. He's
He
in
does.
Russia. So when I'm talking to him, hey, GB, the Russian intelligence, I'm here again. Make sure you're
Hi,
taping me. I know
KGB,
they
it's
tape
me,
me.
Sheriff Joe.
KGB, you know.
So chipters, thank you for tuning in. If watch your kids around water. We're having too many deaths around kids drowning in pools. It's your responsibility as a parent to put somebody to watch them. One person was watching him, he fell asleep and the child drowned and died. So if you have somebody watching them around the pool, make sure they don't fall asleep, they don't take a nap. It's
They're not
very
on their
important.
phone.
It's very important. And don't leave your kids or pets unattended in your vehicles. Other than that, have a blessed day.
We'll see you next
And we'll
week
see you
from
next
the
week.
MCRC building.
Yes.
Thanks,
We-
Sheriff.
Yeah, we will. We'll be televising from the MCRC building and the Trump store. So it's going to be great. And then we have Dr. Branch here the following week. Anyway,
Have a good day.
have a good day.
Bye.
Okay.
Thank you, Alice.
Thank you, guys.
Later, guys.
Bye.
So